Hey guys, it's DT. Welcome back to another impromptu statue unboxing. I was actually in the middle of filming another video when this thing was delivered today. This is the Cyclops Premium Format Figure from Sideshow Collectibles. So I need a quarter scale Cyclops to complete my X-Men collection, and I was going back and forth between this one and the XM Studios Cyclops. So I finally settled on this guy right here, mainly because most of my X-Men collection is from Sideshow, and also the price was something to consider. This one was probably a little more than half of what the XM Studios one cost. However, after seeing all my friends review that other statue, I wound up picking that one up as well. So thank you Jem, George, PJ, Mac, Chris, Ryan, Barb, anyone else that reviewed that XM Studios statue, as well as posted a picture on Facebook. You guys are all responsible for making me spend another $1,000. So I was considering canceling this guy, however, I used mainly Sideshow rewards points to pay for him, so I thought I'd keep him and give him a shot. So I'm gonna review this guy today, and when I get the XM piece in, we'll do a side-by-side comparison, and you guys can tell me who you think is better. So here we have a screaming Cyclops on this art box. The style of the box is very similar to the Jean Grey box that we got. I still have that video to edit, so stay tuned for that. And it's probably because this guy is meant to pair up next to Jean Grey. They both have similar snow bases, and wherever you find a Jean Grey, you're likely to find a Cyclops. Okay, let's open it up. So one thing I'm liking already is that the box here is very manageable. If you've seen some of my recent unboxings, you'll know that some of these statues come in 2 huge boxes. So it's nice to get one medium-sized box here. Okay, and let's see what's inside. Okay guys, and here's what we get. So there's no exclusive version with this statue. So if you're getting this statue, this is everything you're gonna get. No exclusive items. So let's take a look at the Cyclops body right now. Very nice musculature on there. He's got a smoother suit, not a whole lot of texture. There is some on the lower portion of the boots, as well as some dirt and snow painted on. We've got this big key and peg on his left foot. Next, we'll take a look at the base. So like I mentioned, this is a snowy base. We've got this nice underlying rock, and then we've got this cool fire molten rock effect going on through the middle. And I'm guessing that was caused by Cyclops' optic blast. Nice paint job there, looks pretty cool. In this one, we do get 2 different portraits. That's kind of scary right there without the visor. There are no eyes underneath, so you cannot display this without a visor. I think we're gonna slap a visor on him just because that looks hideous. So he actually looks like a Cyclops. So we actually get 3 different visor options. Here's visor number 1, and this is the non-optic blast visor. This one, he has longer hair. His mouth is closed. I wasn't a big fan of this look when I first saw the pictures. Much prefer the open mouth one, which we'll see in a second. But nice sculpt on the hair. And here is the open mouth portrait. And here we've got the blast shooting out of his eyes. I think this one's pretty cool. The material on the blast is actually really flexible. Probably prevents a lot of breakage and shipping and the day-to-day handling of this. If this was a hard piece right here, I'm guessing it'd break off pretty easily and make a lot of people upset. So glad they went with a flexible material on there. Definitely the one I'm going to be using. Here's the third visor option. And this one's got kind of a little residual steam coming off of the visor. Not as cool as the full-on blast. It is something there in case you didn't want a plain visor. And again with this one, same flexible material. This one would be super fragile had it been made out of something hard and non-forgiving. And finally we get a couple of fists. Nice sculpt on those. You can see the details of his gloves and some nice paint on there to give it that used work glove look. I think I have a couple of gloves in my garage that look just like this. Okay, so that was the contents. Let's put this guy together. So this one is a pretty small base, which is a good thing if you don't have a lot of shelf space, but could be a bad thing if you're one of those that love the big, substantial bases. So no instructions needed for this guy. We're just gonna key him in the front. His back foot rests nicely in the snow. Everything looks really good with the fit. I think we'll start off with the screaming portrait with the optic blast. And we'll give him his hands. That left hand was a little tight going in. And there goes the right. Okay, so as you guys can see, really easy setup. So here's a look at Sideshow Cyclops. So starting off with the base, again we have this rocky terrain covered by snow. Nice detailing on the rock portion with some darker tones on the very bottom. The snow looks pretty good as well. You've got some blue hues thrown in there as well as some brown for the dirt. But the paint I love the most is this fiery scorched look going down the middle. I think they did an excellent job with that. And some parts of it have a glossy finish to give you the sense that the rock is actually melted. Okay, moving on to Cyclops. His boots look nice. They're very clean with the exception of the bottom portion, which has some dirt and snow on it. Some nice designs in there to give it some extra detail. He's got the 2 yellow bands around his legs. He's got a little bit of texture going on in that knee pad. And we can also see his well-defined muscles. There's a bit of darker blue shading in there as well to give it some contour. And unlike that big Captain America piece that I reviewed recently, Cyclops got back. He's got a nice rounded rear end. You can tell he's been doing the squats and lunges. And the yellow underwear on the outside really brings attention to that well-developed gluteus maximus. Moving up, he's got the rectangular black and red X belt buckle with an abundance of pouches. 12 pouches on his belt. Every inch of his belt has a pouch on it. I'm not sure if this was inspired by Jim Lee or Rob Liefeld. From the rear, it does give him sort of a thicker waist, not quite as aesthetically pleasing. Going up around his head and onto his left shoulder, we have the harness. Again, we have the red and black X symbol there on his chest. The musculature on his upper body is really nice. I like that you can see the definition there in his forearms, how it's kind of crinkled up there where his arm is bending. Here we can see the gloves in place. Again, the nice touch with that dirt effect. So as I mentioned before, his suit is pretty smooth and doesn't have much texture going on other than the lines in the elbow and knee areas. There are some line details in there that look really nice. And of course, we can see his veins through his suit. I think the sculpt on this screaming head is really nice. I love the way his hair kind of just is all over the place. And the hair that's swooping up in front and all the shorter hairs that are kind of flying in the back. Kind of what we've come to expect from the folks over at Sideshow. Very nice hair. We've got all the separation of the teeth. You can see his tongue in there. Skin tone looks really good. They did quite a bit of contouring in there in his brow area as well as in the chin. Here we have the Optic Blast. This is probably my favorite of the 3 visor options. The only thing is that the blasts here are not completely straight. They kind of curl up at the end. Overall, I think that look looks really good. Here is the regular look. Again, looks nice, but lacks that energy. And it doesn't really show what Cyclops' powers are. And then the one here where we've kind of got the residual steam coming out of his eyes, I think that one looks pretty cool too, but still doesn't match the intensity of the full Optic Blast. Okay, let's try out the second head. Yeah, not quite digging this one as much. Got kind of a frowny face, kind of pouty looking. I feel like Cyclops here should be in the middle of battle, and here he's kind of just got his chin jutting out. Not a very exciting expression on his face. Let's see if the Optic Blast helps a little bit. Okay, it looks a little bit more focused. Don't really like his hair as much here. It's a little calmer. We do have some little strands that kind of come off, and that looks nice. Yeah, this one looks okay too, but since I have the other portrait, I think this head is going in the box. So my main complaint with this piece would have to be the pose. I don't mind that he's lunging here with his arms back. I know some people thought that was more of a Wolverine pose, but my problem with this is this arm here and how it is really stretched back. I'm trying to justify it. I would prefer his arms to be more symmetrical, either both have them back or both have them forward, but having one kind of forward and one really far back just seems odd to me. So he's got his right hand back there. It looks sort of like he's going to be throwing an overhand right. However, his hips here are really square to the front, and if you're loading up for a punch, he'd also have a little bit of rotation in his waist. So I think if they brought that arm forward more to match the left arm, I would have liked this piece a lot better. If you're viewing it from one side where you can't see the other arm, I think it looks fine. Having that arm back actually opens up his body here so you can see the musculature in his obliques and his intercostals. But straight on, I don't like this pose at all. I pointed out that I did like the paint on the base. However, one thing that might be a little odd is that the path here is right between his legs. So was he looking behind him through his legs in order to create this blast here? So if he was standing in place when he made this line, he would have had to bend over. His head would have had to go between his legs and then kind of come up like this. I guess he could have blasted the ground and then run into this position. I guess we'll have to use our imagination for that. Okay guys, time for some comparison. So I've got two other premium format figures here. I've got the Sideshow Sabretooth and the Sideshow Jean Grey. These are the three pieces that we have so far with the snow base. Each one has different snow color as well as snow texture, so they don't quite match up perfectly with each other. Cyclops' snow here is much wider than the other two. Here we have the two boys playing. Being that Cyclops' base is a little bit taller, he's almost eye to eye with Sabretooth. And here Cyclops is shooting his beams right in the Sabretooth's open mouth. And the Sabretooth just overpowers this Cyclops with the amount of detail. And then we've got the big boy Cable, who's technically got the genetics of both of these two. Let's see if we see the family resemblance. It'll be interesting to see which Cyclops looks better with these guys. Okay guys, so there you have it. That was the Sideshow Premium Format Cyclops figure. I don't think this is the best Cyclops available, but we do have to consider the price. This one probably is the least expensive out of all the ones that are available today. So if you're looking to add a quarter scale Cyclops to your collection but don't want to spend $1,000, this would be a good option. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for the XM Studios Cyclops comparison. Also, make sure to subscribe to my other channel, DT's Geek Show, for more collectibles content. We've got some special guest appearances coming on there, along with some other statue and comic book unboxings, so make sure to head over there and subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching. Evan will be coming up next with one of his videos, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.